Okay, let's get right into it. The tech sector is in the middle of a massive shakeup, but this huge wave of layoffs, it isn't what you think. Forget the narrative about a failing industry. Today, we're conducting a forensic analysis to uncover the real, calculated strategy behind all the headlines.
Our investigation starts with this number, 45,363. Just let that sink in. That's how many tech professionals have been laid off globally, just since the start of 2026. It's a staggering figure, and it demands a much, much closer look.
All right, first up, the initial casualty report. Before we can figure out the why, we've got to understand the what, the sheer scale of what's happening, and more importantly, where it's hitting the hardest.
Now you're probably wondering where we're getting our evidence. Well, for this explainer, we're relying on a comprehensive analysis from the financial pros at Rational FX. They've done the heavy lifting, compiling data from public filings, tech news sources, you name it, to give us the clearest possible picture.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the geographic concentration. A whopping 68% of these cuts happened right here in the United States. So this isn't some scattered global trend. Nope. The epicenter of this earthquake is planted firmly in Silicon Valley and other American tech hubs.
All right, next chapter in our investigation, the anatomy of the downsizing. Let's peel back the layers and see which specific companies are driving this trend.
And here's our evidence board. It breaks it all down. I mean, look at Amazon. They're leading the pack with 16,000 cuts. That alone is more than a third of the total from just one company. But you also see these huge numbers from Block, which slashed 40% of its workforce, and Meta. It's pretty clear a handful of giants are responsible for a huge portion of these layoffs.
And this is the core puzzle of our investigation. The part that just doesn't add up at first glance. These aren't companies facing some kind of liquidity crisis. Actually, it's the opposite. Amazon, the company with the largest cuts, just reported record-breaking revenue. So if they're not trying to save a sinking ship, what on earth is really going on?
So, if financial failure isn't the problem, what is the motive? Why would these incredibly profitable companies make such deep, painful cuts to their own workforce? You know, the obvious assumption is widespread financial distress. It's the story you'd expect to hear, but as we just saw with Amazon, the data tells a completely different story. The real motive here is not what it appears to be on the surface.
In fact, we've got expert testimony from the report's lead analyst, Alan Cohen, and he points us directly to the real driver. This isn't a crisis, it's a strategic pivot. The motive is technology itself, specifically artificial intelligence.
And that leads us to the central motive, a fundamental re-architecting of the entire company around an AI-first mandate. This is a brand new playbook where every single decision, from product development all the way to marketing strategy, is now being viewed through the lens of AI integration and efficiency.
So let's be crystal clear here. This isn't just about trimming the fat or reducing the burn rate. This is a deliberate, strategic reorganization of the entire corporate body. We're talking about whole departments being eliminated, management layers getting flattened, all to reinvest those resources into building leaner, more efficient workflows that are powered by AI. So let's move to our final analysis and deliver the verdict. What does this trend really signal for the future of work in the tech industry?
This is absolutely critical. Initially, you might think this restructuring only affects, operational or entry-level jobs, but this quote highlights that the shift is now moving up the corporate ladder, impacting specialized engineers and senior managers as these organizations are fundamentally reshaped. This slide right here perfectly contrasts the old playbook with the new one. Layoffs used to be a sign of failure, a last resort. Today, they're being used as a tool for strategic realignment. The goal is no longer just linear growth by hiring more people. It's about achieving radical operational efficiency by leveraging AI.
Our investigation's conclusion is this. This is not a sign of a collapsing industry. Far from it. This is a symptom of an industry aggressively reinventing itself from a position of immense financial strength, using AI to write the rules for the next generation of business.
And this leaves us with a final critical question. The pace of this change is just staggering. For every investor, leader, and professional in this space, the challenge is clear. Can we adapt quickly enough to what's coming next?
The full evidence file, including the complete data set from this analysis, is available on the Rational FX website. You can visit to see how their insights can prepare your organization for this new AI-driven reality.